Jagrata. People, because of the activity of their minds, make life extremely complicated and create a tremendous burden for themselves. There are really very few people that if you really seriously got to know them and to share with them, that do not experience at least some part of life as a burden, as something heavy, as a weight that you have to carry. In truth, life is not a burden. None of life is a burden. A burden is something that you have to carry. Life is something that is happening. Who said that you were supposed to carry it? Who put you in charge of this process of life? It was going on before you were born, and it will go on long after you leave. It is a process. It certainly has to do with the circumstances around you, but there's not a single circumstance around you that doesn't have to do with the circumstances around it. And there are no circumstances around it that don't completely have to do with the circumstances around it. And the whole thing is a process. It all is affecting each other. It all is influenced in a series of balanced cause and effects. And ultimately, the life that you see around you on a daily basis is no different than the planet in its rotation around the star of the sun, is no different than this galaxy which is floating in the universe. It's all affected and all connected. It's life. What word do you want to give it? Life. That which is the universe. You didn't make it. You are not responsible for it. Nobody asked you to fix it. Nobody asked you to find out whether it was broken. Nobody even gave you the wisdom to figure out what was right and what was wrong. On whose basis? I thought you were just kind of born here. It happened to you. You ended up on this planet, and you are experiencing what it is like to be on a planet spinning around the middle of the universe. And someday you will leave. It is not your decision when that day will come. And it is not your decision when you were born. Nor is anything in between. It is a process that you are a witness, that you are alive, and you are experiencing the process of life. The burden comes when you do other than that. The burden comes when somehow you let your mind, who, by the way, knows absolutely nothing. What does your mind know? I want to know. When you were born, I've checked it out with some little babies, they don't seem to know too much. Not really. You know, you check it out, they haven't got it all figured out yet. Well, how is it that the mind, over some period of time, magically gets to know everything? Such as deep things, like the meaning of life, right and wrong. The mind doesn't know. The mind knows no more and cannot know any more than if I took all the knowledge and experiences of humanity and stuck it in a computer. You want the computer to tell you how to live your life? You want the computer to tell you who you're supposed to marry? You want the computer to tell you what you should do, what you should wear, where you should go? I don't think so. But what if I really told you and proved to you that it had all the knowledge? It had all the knowledge that everyone ever had, and you put it in the computer. Now you're going to let it? I don't think so. I want you to feel that. Would you let it? I don't think so. Sometimes if you were very insecure and you couldn't make your mind, I'll listen to the computer. It's as good as anything else. I'm driving myself crazy trying to figure it out. I'll let the computer tell me. But otherwise you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't. Why? Because there's something deeper inside of you. So why do you listen to your mind? I haven't figured this one out yet. Your mind cannot possibly know more than the computer because it has a very limited amount of knowledge. It's not all the knowledge of anything that ever happened. You're not even close. And yet your mind is constantly, all day, telling you where to go, what to do, who to marry, what to think, what you believe in, what's right, what's wrong, what people should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing, doesn't it? Everything. It tells you everything. And you listen? Because believe me, if your mind has convinced you that it knows something more than its learned experiences, you've been duped. Because that's all the mind knows, is the sum of its learned experiences. And it has the ability to put them together in different combinations and see how they look. Well, that's what a computer does. It's called analysis of known things. All right. So the mind doesn't know. It has only collected experiences. And those are not very many. Not in relationship to the universe. Not at all. Not even in relationship to this world. So you become a little humbler as you grow. And you realize the burden starts when you think you know what's supposed to be. Once your mind convinces you that it knows what's right and what's wrong, and it knows how this person should treat you and how that person should treat you, and it knows what weight your body should be, and what wrinkles should or shouldn't show up on your face. And it knows when you're supposed to get sick and when you're not. And it just knows everything. Once it decides that it knows, now life is a burden. Why? Because you have taken on the responsibility of carrying life. No longer is it free to be what it is, and what it always was, and indeed really what it must be. It is the result of all that ever was. That is what is. The ocean, the waves, the water flows across the ocean floor. When it comes toward the shore, there are different patterns on the floor of the ocean. When it goes across these, it causes swelling, which causes waves to appear on the surface. Do you want to decide whether the waves should be there or not? They are there. They are the result of what is. And that is life. That is true of everything. It is what it is because of all that was. Now, if you decide that you know what should be, then you have come to odds with the greatest force in the universe. Truth. You know what truth is? Truth is not what you figure out in your mind. We already know. The mind can't know anything. It's so limited. Truth is what is. You come here and take an apple and put it over there. And let's have all the intellectuals in the world come and have a discussion as to what color it should be. It is a meaningless discussion. I mean, they have so many theories, so many philosophies, so many concepts, so many views, so many arguments, so many analyses. And you know what they all boil down to? Nothing. Zero. Because you know what? This is the color it is. And that's all that really matters, isn't it? This is what is. Truth is what is. It has nothing to do with supposed to be's. It has nothing to do with judgment. It has nothing to do with right or wrong, or better or worse. A hurricane is an extremely destructive force. Highs and lows come together across mountains and different ranges, and what do they cause? Hurricanes. That's what is. But in the human mind, you have tried to define life from an egocentric point of view. When you as a human say a hurricane should not be, why? Because I don't like it. Because it causes me pain. It's not what I want to experience. Therefore, it's wrong. Pretty far out, isn't it? To the one who knows truth, things are what they are. They realize they are not here. You know, this is a hard one for people. They're not here to change it. They're not here to judge it. They're not here to fight with it, manipulate it, hide from it, separate it. They're here to experience it. You have signed a death toll to your ability to grow the moment you define what should be as where you're at. The moment you see it a certain way based on your level of growth at this time, and you say, oh, well, that's what should be. Therefore, let's make it be that way. And then you pick this person, this situation, that thing, and you define a life that fits where you're at. If you're very, very good at that, you'll die at the same state you were at when you did that. Because you have stopped any part of life from being able to change you. Because you're busy changing life. Now I want to ask you a question. If you are busy changing life, then it cannot change you. And who do you think knows more? You or life? Life is truth. All that is the creation of God. Every moment of every day, every single thing that happens to you. What do you do with that? You experience it. You open to it. You surrender to it. You permit it to enter you and pass through you and take what it must take and give what it must give and bring up what it must bring up and take out what it must take out. You live life. You don't protect yourself from life. You don't segregate the parts of life that you want from what you don't want. You don't fear life. You don't figure out life and then try to make it be that way, because every thought you have is based upon where you're at this moment. It's really based on your fears, based on your needs, based on your desires. If you make life fit that, you will never grow. So life is not a burden at all. It is a burden because you decided how it should be. And if you impose that on life, you've created a friction, a struggle. You will find that at various times you wake up in the morning, you start thinking, what's wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? What can I do? What can I straighten out? And you see a lot of fear. That is because of this relationship with life. Fear comes because you're afraid that life will not be the way you decided you want it to be. The moment you decide how it should be, you now have taken on the responsibility of fighting with the natural forces of life to try to make them be the way you want them to be. What do you know? Not even about your own life, you know nothing. You don't know what's happening. You don't know what it's about. You can only surrender to a force greater than you, which is the universe, and permit it to happen to you. The difference there is there's no struggle. You grow. You go through many things inside, but it's because it's helping you to purify. And at some point you realize that's the only reason you're here. You're not here to get married. You're not here to have children. You're not here to build some empire. You don't take it with you anyways. You're not here to stay young. You're not here not to get sick. The process is much bigger than that. You are here to evolve. You're here to grow. You are here for the evolution of your soul. That takes place when you open. It does not take place when you restrict and you close. The fear that people have is so strong that they cannot even imagine that level of opening. They feel that they must keep life at a distance from them. And by keeping it at a distance, they then filter what they want to happen versus what they don't want to happen. People think this is what it means to be sane and live a meaningful life. You guide your life. You figure out your life. You plot and plan and you manipulate everything. You try to figure everything out. Why? Because I'm afraid and I want to keep it at a safe distance and only let in what I feel comfortable with. And then I don't want that to change. I want it to stay the same. I want to have control. Why do you want control? So that I can protect myself. This is not how you want to live. This is not a meaningful life. What kind of a relationship is that? Make believe it was with another person. that the best you could do was keep that person at a distance, protect yourself from that person, and every once in a while let part of them in because you feel comfortable with that, and then figure out how to make the person be what you want them to be, and manipulate and plot and plan until you've got everything fixed the way you want. What kind of relationship is that? I want to know. For one thing, I'm going to tell you, it's a relationship of fear. You will be afraid constantly that that person will change and that things will not stay the way you need them to be. It's a meaningless relationship. If that is not meaningful in a relationship with a person, what kind of relationship is that with God? Life is no different than God. You live in God, the universe. How can you permit yourself to have a relationship of protection from life? A relationship of judgment and manipulation with life itself, that thing that you were born into and go through the journey of experiencing. Your relationship with life should be exactly like the most perfect relationship with a loved one. Do you want to know when a relationship is beautiful with a loved one? That you love them so deeply that all you want to do is see them. You don't want them to be the way you want them to be, because then all you're doing is getting a mirror, being yourself. You want them to be what they are, spontaneous, open, free, expressive, that moves you. It's beautiful. You love the person, and therefore you want to experience them. You don't want to experience them being what you want them to be. First you have to figure out what you want them to be, and then you have to figure out why you want them to be that way, and then you have to make them be that way, and then you have to keep them being that way. That is not love. What you're trying to do is make this person fulfill your needs. You want to get rid of your needs. If you fulfill your needs, then you have to hold everything there, and you're afraid they'll go away. You let go of your needs. What's underneath your needs is so beautiful. What's underneath your needs is love, is fulfillment, contentment. So as you would have that relationship with another person, you have that with God. You have that with life. You wake up in the morning and you say to the universe, "Hi, I wonder what you're going to do today." How do you know? It's a crazy thing, isn't it, life? You never know what it's going to do. But instead of being afraid, it's like wake up in the morning and seeing someone you love and saying, "Boy, I can't wait till they wake up. I wonder what they'll do." You're excited. You're not afraid. You're not afraid of what they're going to do. You want to experience them as they are. Will you have that relationship with life? Because until you do, you're not living. You're fearing. You're protecting. You're closing. You're manipulating. You're plotting. You're planning. You're figuring it all out and then trying to make it be that way. You have no right to do that to life. Life is omniscient. Life has been here forever, isn't it? You just came a little while ago. Life was here when the dinosaurs were. Life was the dinosaurs. Life is omniscient and omnipotent and eternal. Learn to have a meaningful relationship with life. It starts through acceptance. You open your eyes and no longer look out there to see if it's the way you want it to be. You open your eyes and look out there to see what it is. Because that's very holy, what it is. It's truth. It's reality. And you let it touch you. You let it touch you. And if it touches you and you feel pain, then it touched you and you feel pain. That is not wrong. That is part of touching creation. And if it touches you and you feel love, then it touched you and you feel love. The important thing is to be touched constantly. To let your soul itself touch life. Not be filtered by the protectionism of your mind. This is the great state. This is when you're alive. This is the essence of spirituality, as funny as that sounds. And when you let life touch you, every moment is ecstasy. Don't let your mind tell you that if something happened, it would kill you. That must not happen. It's not true. If something happened, it would happen. And you would experience it. And it would touch you very deeply and awaken your soul. if you let it. But if you resisted it, and you were not able to let it touch you, and you closed your mind, then all that energy of the event, of the universe, would hit your closed mind and closed heart, and it would destroy you. And it would take you to the bottom, and you would feel the burden, and you would feel pain, and you'd feel depressed, and you'd feel of course that's going to happen, because you are fighting with the universe. Instead, you learn to open, and you let it touch you. You let God touch you. And that's how you experience true growth. Not by figuring it out, but by accepting it. You put your life in the hands of God. Everywhere's everything is just the divine force doing its dance. You let go, and you will be the happiest, wisest, most beautiful being on this planet. You let life happen, and life will take you into itself, and you will know truth, love, beauty, at a level you've never imagined. So there is no burden as we started. You create the burden. The burden is trying to make life be the way you want it to be. That's a heck of a burden. The question is, who are you to have decided how life should be? Let go of that, and life will take you for a ride. You will love every single minute of it, and you will come to know something greater than yourself, because you permit something greater than yourself to touch you. This is the path of yoga. Jagrata.